Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels? Working harder and harder, but you're not really getting anywhere financially? It's a super common trap. So today, we're going to break down the game-changing ideas from Rich Dad, Poor Dad and turn them into a real, practical guide for all you business owners and marketers out there who are ready to stop just trading your time for money and start building some actual lasting wealth.
So let's start with this weird paradox that so many of us have been through. You land that promotion, you get a nice raise, your income goes up, but somehow the money stress doesn't go away. In fact, sometimes it feels even worse, right? Well, that is not an accident. It's actually a pattern, and just understanding what that pattern is, that's the very first step to breaking free from it.
The book gives this pattern a name, the rat race. It's this endless cycle that's really driven by two super powerful emotions. First, there's the fear of not having enough money to pay the bills. And then the moment you do get more money, desire and greed kick in. You think, ooh, I can afford a bigger house, a nicer car. And that just leads to more spending, bigger bills, and that constant feeling that you're just chasing a carrot on a stick that you can never quite reach.
So how in the world do you break that cycle? Well, the book argues that it has way less to do with how big your paycheck is and everything to do with one simple but absolutely fundamental rule. That's it. Seriously, this is the single most important rule in the whole book. And I know, it sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But the reason most people struggle with money is because they truly don't get this distinction. So let's make sure we define these terms crystal clear.
Okay, forget all those complicated definitions you learned in accounting class. For our purposes, an asset is simply something that generates income. It puts money into your pocket month after month, whether you're actively working on it or not.
And a liability? Well, it's the exact opposite. It's anything that costs you money. It takes cash out of your pocket on a regular basis. The beauty here is in the simplicity. It's all about the direction the money is flowing.
This is where the whole idea of cash flow becomes so critical. Think of it like this. Assets create a positive cash flow. Money is constantly flowing towards you. Liabilities, on the other hand, create a negative flow. Your money is always flowing away from you to pay for them. And honestly, the direction of that flow pretty much determines your entire financial future.
And this quote right here, this is the core mistake that the book just hammers home. So many of us are taught to buy things that we think are assets, like our family home or a brand new car. But if that thing is taking money out of your pocket every single month for mortgage, insurance, gas, and repairs, it's not an asset, it's a liability.
So this one simple rule ends up creating two completely different financial mindsets, which the book brings to life through two characters: the poor dad, who is a highly educated, high-earning employee, and the rich dad, who is an investor and a business owner.
And this table really shows you the deep-down difference in how they focus their energy. Poor Dad's whole world was about his paycheck, his job, and his security. Rich Dad's world, it was all about creating systems, investments and businesses that would make money for him. One mindset is all about working for income, the other is about building systems that create wealth.
This simple shift in language is an absolute game changer, especially for business owners. When you say, I can't afford it, that's a full stop. It's a dead end. Your brain just shuts down. But when you ask, how can I afford it? You turn a roadblock into a creative challenge. Your brain starts firing, looking for new financing ideas, new business opportunities, and ways to make that investment actually pay for itself. Okay, so if the goal is to get assets and think like Rich Dad, what's the actual strategy here? Well, the book boils it down to just 3 little words. Mind your own business.
Now hold on, this does not mean you need to quit your job tomorrow and go start a new company. Minding your own business here means you dedicate your focus, your energy, and your extra cash to building up your asset column. See, your profession is how you earn money. Your business is what you do with that money to build real wealth.
So what are these real assets we should be going after? The book lays out a few great examples. For a business owner or a marketer, that intellectual property could be an online course you create once that sells over and over. A business that doesn't require your presence could be a niche affiliate website that you build using your SEO skills. The theme here is creating things that work for you, even when you're not working.
All right, let's get out of the theory and into action. How can you actually start building that asset column like today? Well, it all comes down to building 3 key habits.
First, start looking at your job not as your life, but as a funding source for your real business, which is your asset column. Second, be ruthless about minimizing those liabilities that are just draining your cash. And third, you have to make buying assets a consistent, disciplined habit.
Think of every single dollar you invest in an asset as a little seed that's going to grow into future income. And to make this super practical, here's a little weekly checklist for you. Just ask yourself these questions. Paying yourself first. That means funding your assets before you pay your bills. Scrutinize every purchase. Are you really buying a tool for your business that's going to generate a return? Or is it just a new shiny toy? And always keep that mind sharp and keep learning. Just look at the massive difference in the process here. The traditional path most of us are taught is you earn, you pay taxes, then you spend what's left. But the wealthy follow a totally different path. They earn, they invest in assets first, and then they let those assets pay for their expenses. The whole goal shifts from just saving up a nest egg for someday in the distant future to building an ever-growing stream of cash flow that starts right now.
Ultimately, the biggest message in this book is that financial freedom isn't really about money. It's about financial education. Your ability to see opportunities, to understand the numbers, and to control your own spending habits, that is your greatest tool. Investing in your own financial IQ will always give you the highest returns.
So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. The choice between being rich, poor, or middle class, well, it's a choice that's made every single day with every single dollar. So, what will you choose?
Subscribe for more actionable executive summaries, and if you want deeper insights and exclusive content, support the channel on Patreon. You'll find the link in the description.